After sweeping 5 Grammys, doing a victory lap with the Super Bowl, there's no denying that Kendrick Lamar is on top right now. But given the massive success of GNX, there's an album for me that's just as pivotal for getting here, just as important, and sometimes it gets overlooked. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is for me one of my personal favorite Kendrick albums. I just love the raw, stripped back introspection of it all. And he really just lets us into his world, into his personal psychological journey, processing trauma, and as he goes through the stages of grief and healing. But there's a song I want to dive into in a video I've never actually seen before that I think is worth breaking down here on the channel, just to help us appreciate a little bit more the artistry and the greatness that is Kendrick and why people celebrate him so much today. And I know the irony of the title of this, but right here, right now, is none other than Count Me Out. TikTok.
Kendrick? Kendrick? Did you hear that, Kendrick?
Yes. My apologies. I thought my time was up.
No, we can continue if you like. So, what did you say to the lady in the parking structure?
You took my damn parking spot.
I told her I didn't take your damn parking spot.
And how did that make you feel, reacting that way?
I felt decent.
Oh,
Decent.
How come?
Because I did take her parking spot. No.
Helen Mirren.
You texted me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I feel like I'm fallen. Why do you feel that way?
Wow, that look.
Life.
I'll tell you what, first minute, are we shooting a movie or are we shooting a music video? Just the way that this all sets up. Had a beautiful pacing and flow to it. It was just right, but I love how we open, right? Because you just create this sense of intrigue. We think it's just Kendrick. Well, actually, before that, the sense of intrigue starts with this. TikTok of the watch, but then it goes black. Almost like there's nothing is left to our interpretation because we're just lost in our own thoughts, our own musings. We're blacking out.
Kendrick?
And then right there, she says Kendrick, but we don't know who said it or where she is. But we just see Kendrick. And just the way that he's positioned to the right of the frame, right? And just kind of build just an artistic shot right there already because you work in thirds, right? So he's on the right-hand third of the frame, but that piano is more lit. He's kind of in shadow here, right? Showing, especially on his right-hand side, you see more of the shadows playing against the wall and like he's kind of wrapped in darkness and wrapped in his own thoughts. So there's something a little bit darker and sinister going on there while the piano's a lot more well lit. Even the lighting, just the way this is all set up. There's a lot of thought in this.
Kendrick?
That is a dope shot through the piano. And you see Kendrick, who looks a little haggard, right? Looks like he's been going through some stuff.
Did you?
Versus juxtapose that with the very like clean-cut, self-assured, composed Kendrick that we get since the battle, that we get in GNX throughout those music videos.
That, Kendrick?
This is a much rawer, more introspective album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, for sure.
Yes.
I like his acting, too.
I thought
You can see why we got a movie coming.
time was up.
Except that's going to be a comedy, right? I'm looking forward to that. Whitney Springs. Ooh, that shot as well, right? As he turns, check this out. Check out just the focus pull. It's on him. And then finally, like we don't know, it's kind of a shadowy, almost angelic figure, right? She's wearing white, he's wearing black, which also really stands out when you go black and white filming like this. And then she comes into focus there.
No, we can continue if you like. So, what did you say to the lady in the parking structure?
You took my damn parking spot.
I told her I didn't take your damn.
Interesting how the flashback is in color. Like normally you'd expect maybe a flashback going back in time to be in black and white if we're going to choose to go black and white, but the present is in black and white. The flashback's in color.
Spot.
And how did that make you feel, reacting that way?
I felt decent.
Oh, how come?
It's a really interesting response to say. I've never said that in my life to someone. I felt decent.
Because I did take her parking spot. No.
I wonder if that is like lingo as learned through therapy and a result of therapy. Just that little laugh and kind of like that musing kind of falls back into a little bit of an awkward silence. And she used that to break the ice, and now she's going to penetrate with her next question. Taking the glasses off too. Gets more serious.
4 o'clock in the morning. I feel like I'm fallen. Why do you feel that way?
This for me, you could see a man just really lost in his own world. There's pain there. There's entrapment. There's, the reflections, the eyes are just a mirror to the soul. It's great acting, but I don't think he's acting. I think he's just being raw with it all like he was throughout Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Life.
Then you hear how life echoes around before the instrumentation comes in. That's haunting. What's going on here? Stepping like Mr. Morale in the Big Steppers. Oh, that's a transition.
One of these lives, I'ma make these right with the wrongs I done. That's when I unite with the father, son. Till then I fight. Rain on me, put the blame on me. Got guilt, got hurt, got shame on me. Got 6 magazines that's aimed at me. Done every magazine was fame to me. It's a game to me with the bedroom at. Sleep, I ain't never had a fast with that. What's fair when the hearts and the words don't reach? What's fair when the money don't take things back? It's rare when somebody take your dreams back. I care too much, wanna share too much. In my head too much, I shut down too. I ain't there too much. I'm a complex soul. They layered me up, then broke me down. Immorality's dust, I lack in trust. This time around I trust myself. Please everybody else but myself. All else fails, I was myself. Outdone fear, outdone myself. This year you better won yourself. Mask on the babies, mask on the op. Wear masks in the neighborhood stores you shop. But a mask won't hide who you are inside. Look around, the reality's carved in lies. Wipe my ego, dodge my pride. Look myself in the mirror, Amityville. Ain't seen nothing scary.
Is that a mirror too? Wow, this is layered.
I fought like a pit bull terrier. Blood I shed could fill up aquariums. Tell all my angels carry them. Every emotion been
yeah, he's carrying a mirror, right?
Even my strong points couldn't survive.
Whitney.
If I didn't learn to love myself, forgive myself 100 times, dog. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me.
What was that? An angel? Angel on the shoulder? That's not the full song. Oh, we just got Kendrick's again. I love that sample too. Like the children's choir singing Am I Trippin'? But right there, they didn't even sing Am I Trippin'? It cut out before they could sing that, before we could carry on that thought and that music. And in the original, he doesn't finish his line either in the full song. But another Kendrick video where we don't even get like the full version of the song. But that was perfect timing just for this, like leave you on the edge of your seat. And so much symbolism yet again. Where do we start? I mean, where do we always begin? Lyrics, video, let's go.
Life.
That's the angel at the end, right? Who sits next to him. The stepping, the big steppers. But this is a big song for this album because this is on disc 2, right? This is the transition now. When he really starts to embrace therapy, when you get away from the big steppers, when you start to get Mr. Morale. Sad face. Wonder why the red.
One of these lives, I'ma make these right with the wrongs I done. That's when I unite with the father.
One of these lives, I'm gonna make things right. You know, we had a song on GNX, Reincarnated. And Kendrick has continued this sort of theme of exploring ideas of spirituality and reincarnation. And I take that there as one of these lives. I'm going to make things right. And he talks about generational trauma and how that carries on and how that's affected him throughout Miss Morale. Look at that shot with the shadows, right? You don't have to see the people, but you know all of a sudden he's being surrounded, right? That feels kind of sinister in the way it's like a V and he's just right there at the center of it all. Framing again, cinematography on point. I get anxiety watching this, and I feel like this is a reflection of his anxiety and all the worrying thoughts in his mind, in his head as the world goes past him.
With the wrongs I've done, that's when I unite with the Father.
With the wrongs I've done, that's when I unite with the Father, Son. And here's where he ties in with Christianity: Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
One of these lives, I'ma make these right with the wrongs I've done. That's when I unite with the Father, Son, till then I...
Isn't there an irony in making wrongs right? That juxtaposition of lyricism.
Rain on me, put the blame on me. Got guilt, got hurt, got shit. Unite with the Father, Son, till then I fight. Rain on me.
Whitney at the top and he's at the bottom suffering.
Blame on me, got guilt.
That's the heart, Kendrick. Got guilt. And right there, he's talked about, you know, his infidelity and his sexual addictions. And that, to me, when he's talking about the guilt, that's why that image is there, right? In the bedroom.
I hurt, got shame on me. Got 6 magazines that's aimed at me. Done every magazine was fame to me.
Done every magazine, what's fame to me? But he flips the magazines, like gun magazines and the violence that I've seen. And a herd of goats, what's fame to me? I'm a goat. He's already saying he's a goat right here. He still can't get away from Big Steppin'. There's still this vulnerability, this mismorale, but I've said this before. Kendrick is like a warrior monk now, isn't he? The warrior philosopher.
It's a game to me with the bedroom at. Sleep, I ain't never had affairs with that. What's fair when the hearts and the words don't reach? What's fair when...
Sleep, I've never had affairs with that. And then he's wordsmithing. What's fair? Affair, what's fair? I love how he flips the meanings there. But sleep never had affairs with that. He's had plenty of affairs, just not with sleep. He's in the bedroom where you're supposed to sleep, but we're not sleeping. He's having affairs. If only he could have an affair with sleep, maybe he would get some sleep. But all these sins, all these wrongs, they keep him up at night. What a bar and flip of his infidelities into sleep and affairs. Smooth.
On me, got 6 magazines that's aimed at me. Done every
and raw and vulnerable and honest too. And then Whitney throughout this video as well.
It's a game to me with the bedroom at. Sleep, I ain't never had affairs with that. What's fair when the hearts and the words don't reach? What's fair when the money don't take things back? It's rare when somebody take your dreams back. I can't.
The door closing on him. That's an important shot for me. And there's family.
Too much.
I think there's a reflection of just... You have these different moments in life happening that lead to his stresses, that go through his mind. It is like a therapy session with him through this video. And we're just seeing the different images as they flash through his mind, right? And all of these just indicators and all these stresses and all these things that get to him and that trouble him.
I share too much, in my head too much. I shut down too, I ain't there too much. I'm a
Do I share too much? In my head too much? I shut down too. And I feel like so many of us, we're so introverted like that and overthinking all the time. And sometimes it's either all or nothing. Like we either give you our everything and it's oversensitivity, it's overstimulation and emotion, or it's just completely withdrawn, completely shut down and disconnected and lost in this world.
Like I care too much, when I share too much, in my head too much, I shut down too, I ain't there too much, I'm a
and that's why the door was shut down.
Like so they layered me up, then broke me down in my
I feel like this talks about his Messiah complex, right? That he's touched upon before. And how he's been looked at as a savior. And he's used this imagery of like being like Jesus, right? And we've seen that in this album as well, right? Like hanging in the air, like Jesus at the cross, and this sort of standing out. Feels like Dune, but obviously this is before Dune. Rising up, Black Power as well. But the red stands out, red for blood that he shed amidst the white and the purity. And people expect him to sacrifice himself like Jesus on the cross with the red bleeding.
These dusts I lack in trust. This time around I trust myself. Please everybody else but myself. All else fails I was myself. Outdone fear, outdone myself. This year you better win yourself.
I like that shot being in the boardroom because you could feel pressure from the label execs of how he's supposed to move, right? And then I think we all have those moments, right? When you're like down for a moment, you're lost in your own world. And he has that here.
Lack in trust. This time around I trust myself.
That same expression.
Please everybody else
come in with the camera, pan in, and then pan back out as you transition scenes.
Myself, all else
right there. And then it's almost like you snap to, and you come back around, and then you realize, oh, I have to be present. I have to be involved in this world again.
I was myself, outdone fear, outdone myself.
Out with his homies.
You better won yourself. Mask on the babies, mask on the op, wear mask in the neighborhood stores you shop, but a mask won't hide who you are inside. Look around, the reality's carved in lies. White.
A mask won't hide who we are inside. Remember, this dropped during the pandemic, right? So masks in the shop versus like masks, like those mobbing, robbing out in the streets, right? Versus everybody's wearing a mask, and it's not a physical mask. For him, it's a symbolic mask, because those masks are covering up what we may present to the outside world. Doesn't always reflect and represent what's going on in the heart, what's going on in the mind and in the soul, especially for Kendrick.
Myself, this year you better won yourself. Mask on the babies, mask on the op, wear mask in the neighborhood stores you shop, but a mask won't hide.
Getting tested right there, interesting, right? Relating to the mass and those tests, but then also like being a father and fatherhood and those stresses and those anxieties that weigh on him.
You are inside, look around, the reality's carved in lies. Wipe my ego, dodge my pride. Look myself in the mirror, Amityville, ain't seen.
Look myself in the mirror, Amityville. Shout out to Eminem, Amityville, right? But also the, was it the son who killed his whole family in Amityville? I mean, that was tragic. But it could be like a murder in his own mind, in his own world. But he's laying in the grass, and it's his reflection in the mirror that's moving around. And this mirror theme is also important because he struggles with this. He even has a track mirror on this album.
In the mirror, Amityville, ain't seen nothing scarier. I fought like a pit bull terrier, blood I shed could fill up aquariums. Tell all my angels carry them. Every emotion been deprived, even my.
And then he starts to carry that mirror with him wherever he goes. But that's what he fears. Like there's this ego and pride in dealing with that, and even fought like a pit bull terrier. I think that for me goes even deeper, because obviously pit bulls being bred to fight, but if you don't breed them to fight, they can be very loving dogs, right? They don't have to be bred to fight. And they are very much a victim of their upbringing and their circumstances around them. And I think Kendrick has a relation to that, you know, being a victim of his upbringing and his circumstances and the violence around him that molded him.
In the mirror, Amityville, ain't seen nothing scarier. I fought like a pit bull terrier, blood I shed could fill up aquariums. Tell all my angels carry them. Every emotion been deprived, even my strong points couldn't survive. If I didn't learn to love myself, forgive myself 100 times, dog. I love when you count me out. I love.
If I learn to love myself, that's a big if, because this feels like the beginning of his therapy. He obviously embraces it more as Mr. Morale progresses, but this is really him, I think, reflecting on all these life moments and struggling to accept, struggling and wondering if there's any point to this, right? And really leaning into that darkness. Here's back to the Messiah complex.
I love when you count me out. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me out. I love when you count me.
Wow. And I love when you count me out. You know, it's almost like a message to the haters, to his critics. I love when you count me out. But there's an irony to me, because there's that duality. And that layer that makes more sense in context to the therapy session is him counting himself out, that man in the mirror, and letting pride and ego rule him and get the best of him, and giving into his sins, giving into his infidelities. This is a man looking for purpose here and looking for redemption. It's beautiful. And we cut it. But for me, the therapy has just begun. But there's this internal conflict and struggle that I just think it's represented so artistically and so beautifully, and just playing off of the symbolism and some of the greater themes that we talked about just throughout this as we run through his mind and the way that it sets up. It's like we're sat right there breaking the fourth wall of his therapy session as he tries to figure out how to heal and how to reflect. Man, that's incredible. What a video. What a song. What a fucking album this is. Honestly, I got to get the album breakdown cleared, or maybe we'll just do a new one. But for me, this just shows the deeper levels and the artistry of Kendrick. And like, you know how we sat during the Super Bowl halftime show, people are like, no, there's not Easter eggs, there's not details. Well, the writing's been on the wall for a very long time with Kendrick. You know, anytime you dive into a Kendrick video, we did the All the Stars breakdown, right? There's so many layers. Every shot is well thought out. Every shot has symbolism. Every shot has something a little bit more to it. And that for me is what you do when you really care about your art and you want to try to create something that's timeless and you create an experience. And it's not just, hey, we got a dope song, let's make a video and just to help push the song. No, it's, well, this song lives here. What's the meaning of this song? What is the message that we're trying to convey? Now, what can we do to elevate that with a video? And can we add to the artistic experience? Can we add to the user experience by giving and furthering the art through the video? And the video just adds a new element and a new appreciation to the music. And I feel like that's how Kendrick really approaches so many of his videos. And this is what you get here. That was dope. Kendrick Lamar, you were Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys like today's video. Listen, if for some reason you're here at the end, hopefully you enjoy these breakdowns and what we try to do and bring to this channel. Do me a favor, support, subscribe, notifications on. Really does go a long way. Also, come join us on the Patreon. We got more Kendrick Lamar content on there. We got a lot of good stuff. If you want to support and join our community, I'll put all links down there. All right, everybody, stay safe, stay positive, take care of these, take care of these. I'll catch you again.
Sit down, sit down. I'm like, wow, how we do it like that? Like, wow, how we do it like that? Like,